Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel of nonsense. I want to talk about BMW today because they've been doing some slightly weird stuff lately. You might have seen on social media advertising their new EV, the iX, using some words like boomer and stuff like that, trying to be hip and dope. But perhaps the weirdest thing they've done is launch the M5 CS, which is £141,000 for what, let's be honest, is just a family saloon car with a massive great donk in the front of it. 141 grand. I thought that was a bit rich for my blood, so I'm keeping it real and I'm testing the bargain M5 Competition. This one is £120,000. That's still a bloody massive ton of money, isn't it? So yeah, what do you get for 120 grand? You'd kind of hope you get lasers or something, wouldn't you? Fortunately for BMW, this car does actually have lasers. It's got laser headlights, because I told a bit of a lie earlier. It's only £102,000. Only £102,000. Can't believe I'm saying that. There's one option pack on this car though, and it's £19,000. It's called the Ultimate Pack, and it does, to be fair, include pretty much everything you could want, including the laser headlights, including the carbon ceramic brakes, loads of other trinkets and bits that we'll get onto over the course of this video. But let's talk about the looks. The 5 Series was facelifted at the start of 2020 and the M5 got facelifted along with it. And in the UK, we lost the normal M5. You can't buy it. You can only buy it at competition in the UK. I think in Europe, you can still get the standard M5. It's got 25 horsepower less. But anyway, details. You get the double barred M grille. It's just, I don't know, is quite grunty looking, isn't it? Looks like an angry piglet. It's got black grille, that denotes the competition. Standard M5 gets chrome, although you can't get the standard M5 in the UK. It looks quite understated. It's not like an E63, which is all muscles and protein and creatine and like punching its girlfriend, stuff like that. It's quite a nice understated car, this, relatively speaking. The eagle-eyed among you will know this is an M5 Competition, not your peasant's regular M5, by the fact it sits 7mm closer to the ground on the adaptive dampers that BMW says they've nicked from the M8 Grand Coupe. The carbon ceramic brakes on this is an option, part of the Ultimate Pack. Save 23 kilos over the regular brakes, which BMW says aren't just regular steel, they're M compound, because that makes it better somehow. These are better still. BMW chassis engineers have been busy making the competition more competition-y. At the back end, all the rear toe links, they're ball jointed rather than rubber mounted, because that's what we need, isn't it? More sportiness in our comfortable family saloons. The back end of the M5 Competition looks like your classic BMW M5. You've got quad tips, which BMW says have been enlarged to look technically precise. It's the best kind of precise, isn't it? They're black, competition stuff. In it, you've got the classic BMW L-shaped lights with darkened rims around them. And the boot is 520 litres. It's actually quite a decent space. I actually drove this Generation 5 Series. I drove one back from Gibraltar to the UK in a weekend full of stuff, and it was uber comfortable. I'm not sure this one's going to be, but we shall find out. Obviously, the whole point of a BMW M5 is it's practical, yet very fast. I have to say, although I've got lots of knee room, I haven't got loads of room for my feet under the driver's seat, which obviously I've slammed to put it all the way down, because that's what you do in a sporty car. It's okay, I'll be fine for kids, knee room is fine, headroom is fine. I've got a little screen here with which I can watch TV, I can stream stuff from my iPhone. This is mad. You can see the sat-nav, I can see the weather, and I can turn the traction control off. Up front, the M5 Competition's interior is about as exciting as you would expect, which is, well, not very, but the standard 5 Series is a very nice place to be. So in this, you get a 12.3-inch infotainment screen, which is also a touchscreen, also has iDrive, so it's instantly the best infotainment system in the world. Digital dashboard, which you can't actually customize that much on the move. You have to go through menus on here, which is a bit of a shame, but it's still quite classy and muted. The flashes of red are the M1 and M2 buttons. They're to switch between your preset driving modes. So I've set that one to normal sport mode and that one to sport plus sportier four-wheel drive, which we'll come on to in a bit. So that's your skids button. You have to press it twice because it turns the DSC slightly off. And otherwise, it's just a lovely place to be. It's got a massive head-up display, like bigger than in any car that I can remember being in. And when you're in sport mode, you get this huge rev counter in the windscreen and you feel like you're in a race car. Apparently, I've not done it, when you put it in track mode, it switches that screen off and mutes the speakers as well, so you can focus on not crashing, because at that point you're in rear-wheel drive only mode. One thing that is worth mentioning is the Harman Kardon sound system is bloody brilliant. It's upgraded and it's illuminated, so it's an option, but it's worth having, I would say. It's pretty thumping. Although the person that had this car before me turned the bass all the way up and the treble all the way up, and when I'm in charge, people that do that will be first against the wall to be shot. So yeah, and it's got some kind of carbon fibre-ish weave nonsense. The seats are very comfortable, they're heated, they're cooled and they're massaging, but the headrests don't move up and down and they're too low for me. I'm 6'3", so I don't really feel like they're covering the back of my head very well. But hey, niggles, it's a perfectly good interior, it's just fairly understated. Sorry, did I say that it's got a Harman Kardon sound system? I clearly meant Bowers and Wilkins. Attention to detail, roadie, honestly. Right, enough chitter chatter. Let's take the M5 Competition for a little drive. Yeah, it's quite loud actually. When you start it up, I thought it was going to be a little bit more muted. You don't have to squeeze a nipple in to put it into reverse or drive because you push it sideways. Very easy to do. Cameras everywhere. And yeah, it's actually quite easy to parallel park as well. It's more nimble and smaller than you would think. Right, I'm in comfort mode. I'm just trundling along down my farm track. It's actually quite simple to choose between the modes in this because you've only got 2 modes other than the M modes. You've got road and sport and then track, but I'm not going to be doing that because I'm on the road. So yeah, in its most comfortable setting, this is a reasonably broken up farm track. It's a bit lumpy and a bit bumpy and way less refined and plush than you would expect. A normal 5 Series is a wonderfully wafty thing. This, you can tell, they've given it a sporty edge. And even in comfort mode, I don't think it's comfortable enough, frankly. You know when you're on a plane and you're taxiing to the runway and it goes over all those expansion bumps on the tarmac and you hear the bang, 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 bang. It's kind of like that. And I think that's probably this car's biggest dynamic failing, is that it's just not comfortable in comfort mode. It's not terrible and you would get used to it, but ooh, I wish it had a broader range of niceness. Right, as I said, I'm just in normal mode, normal comfort mode. 4-wheel drive is in normal mode. The 3 modes for the 4-wheel drive. There's normal 4-wheel drive, there's 4-wheel drive sport, and then there's rear-wheel drive, aka not 4-wheel drive. Right, the roads are greasy, I'm in normal 4-wheel drive. Let's just go. Let's give it a drive and see what it's like. So in normal 4-wheel drive mode, that's the speed limit. It just finds grip and goes without really any dramatic slides or anything, which is kind of what you want, right? You just want to get from A to B without terrifying yourself. Yeah, that 4.4 litre V8 up front has got 625 horsepower and 750 newton meters of torque from 1800 RPM, 0-62s in 3.3 seconds, but it's not an intimidating car to drive, not in normal mode. We'll move it up to 4x4 sport in a minute, then things get a little dicier and a little more exciting. But initial impressions are, it's easy to drive. You can get it to slide a little bit in normal mode without trying to. If you stick it in second gear out for a roundabout and give it a bootful, it will do a little bit of that. And when you put it in 4-wheel drive sport mode, it does quite a lot of that. I'm not going to be putting it in rear-wheel drive. Go and check out the track videos of people drifting them for that. I'm on the public road. And to put it in rear-wheel drive mode, you have to turn all the safety systems off, all the stability control. And this is a 120 grand car, and I quite like my job, so sorry about that. The cabin isn't too noisy. The brakes are phenomenally good. What I would say, the carbon ceramics, checking there's nothing behind me, is reasonably hard braking. You immediately get the limits of the tyres grip. So you are kicking the car into ABS quite quickly because they bite so hard. They're quite abrupt at the top of the pedal. They've got a really strong initial bite. Whether you like that or not is up to you. You do get to the stage where you can moderate them reasonably well, through a massive puddle. Right, let's get to my acceleration test, and I'll show you how quickly it gets from 30 to 60. I think I mentioned I really like the head-up display. It's really big. I'm going to put it into sport mode now, using my M1 button. I've got that set up to give me sporty everything, but not the most sporty of everything. Right, I'm going to manually shift the 8-speed gearbox down into, let's say, second, I think. 4,000 RPM, 30 miles an hour into a 60, let's go. It shifted up into third just as I did that, but that is not the speed limit. It's outrageously fast. It's, yeah, don't think that because it's slightly quieter than the AMG and stuff like that, it's not fast. It's devastatingly quick. I have found on these P0 tyres in the wet, it does occasionally understeer. Usually in tighter corners and coming out roundabouts, it kind of goes understeer, oversteer really quickly, and the stability control systems kick in. Lots of standing water, not going to take a piss. But yeah, oh yes. When you get on it, it will fire you out of corners, and you feel that rear drive bias. It's really quite exciting. It's very quick, and as you start going faster, that suspension starts to make sense. It's just when you're pottering that you wish it was plusher. Like I said, I have had some big understeer moments in this, so I'm taking it fairly easy. It is more entertaining to drive than an Audi RS6, yes, definitely, but the RS6 is more comfortable. Yeah, it's a good thing. It is a very good thing. It's joyous, in fact, I would say. Right, I have to press that twice to confirm I want to put it into M Sport mode. I'll turn it round and see what that's like. So I put the four-wheel drive system into sport mode. Let's go and try that again. I'll just wait for the traffic to go away, and it's raining. Excellent. And there's more cars. What is going on? Right. What's the turning circle like? It's okay. Right. Do you go shift yourself, Rody? Yeah, it's squirmier. With four-wheel drive sport mode, it does send, well, more power to the back wheels, and it feels a lot more rear-wheel drive. And it puts the stability control into M dynamic mode, which is excitinger. Not going to do any big slides on this road, but trust me, at junctions, roundabouts and things, this is the one that makes it feel like an old school M5. Yeah, four-wheel drive sport mode, it lets you do that. Don't think because it's got four-wheel drive it's boring, because it ain't. Right, that's enough waffling on about driving. Back to you, Tim, for an outro. In conclusion, what do I think of the M5 Competition? Well, it's a bit of a confusing car, to be honest, because it only really starts to come alive when you start driving it like a sports car. And it's a 2-ton family saloon car. Just when you're pottering about, it's a bit jiggly, it's a bit too firm, it's a bit annoying. It's also 120 grand, which is a lot of money, whichever way you look at it. 141 grand M5 CS. I don't know, presumably they'll sell them, but I don't know to whom. I really like it. I just wish it was cheaper. I wish it was a bit softer, but there is a lot to like about it. The E63, that's the main rival, that's also very firm. From memory, it's a bit cheaper than this, I need to check. And it's a bit rortier as well. This is quite understated and sanitized, but the driving dynamics of this, when you put it in that four-wheel drive sport mode, it's hilariously entertaining. And yeah, BMW, that's what they're meant to do, isn't it? Do the slidey stuff, do the cocking about, do the childish stuff. I just wish it had a better breadth of talent and it could waft around as well. So yeah, it's a mixed bag really, but it's not a bad car. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. Please like, please comment, please subscribe, hit my bell, and I'll see you again very soon, he says, hoping that he doesn't die tomorrow of the COVID.